I nearly forgot to record. Thank you, Abdul, for raising the questions of attendance. Your attendance will be automatically captured when you sign into the WebEx, just like any other WebEx that you attended. Yeah. So do not worry about your attendance. Okay. So let's go back to topic 4. Yeah. So for topic 4, we are going to look at more on the population and human movement because of industrialization. Okay. And then in topic 5, we are going to look at industrialization and social stratification. If you still remember, I think you learned if you major in anthropology, sociology, or if you happen to minor in anthropology and sociology, you would have learned in your JK 101 about stratification, social stratification, how the society is become layered, yeah, like different classes of or different social status according to their wealth, their education levels, and all that. How the society become stratified, yeah, become layered, yeah. Why they are so different. People have different social status. So how it is related to industrialization, okay? And for 6, yeah, we move into something more concrete that is closer to our life, yeah. So we will look at how industrialization changes the work and our occupations, including what we call the knowledge economy. So what is the commodity, yeah, of our skill? How do we, what, like our labor, which aspect of our labor is more in demand because of the changes brought about by industrialization? Yeah. So if you notice now, a lot of people are sort of moving into producing sort of content, whether it's on social media or in whatever platform. We are somehow generating certain kind of information or knowledge for consumption. So it sort of changes the economy and what is considered a commodity that can be marketed in the current technology and our state of our industrializations. Okay, so that's topic 6. And in topic 7, we are going to look at how, because of all the changes in our jobs and occupations and even our our employer, yeah, how do we relate to each other? That forms what we call industrial relations, and also it shapes the organization cultures. Yeah, so all this is sort of trying to let you have more um, don't so that you don't take whatever you experience now at work, whether it's at work or in your personal life, so that we don't take it for granted, because it all in one way or another is connected to the industrializations process. Yeah, and you will see it very clearly, especially when we come to topic 8, like the family functions and also gender roles. Yeah, how industrialization, it will shift uh, family functions. Yeah, from a family that is become a productions unit to become a consumption unit, in the economy. So we will talk more about it, how this changes, and also how it actually shifted the gender roles in the relationship and also in the industrialization process. Yeah. And the last two topics, I'm going to try to look for some emerging, yeah, emerging technology and how that actually changes, the macroscopic social. It creates some ruptures, that we are experiencing now, yeah. Um, so we are going to look at how the current technology changes is changing our life, as we experience, the current technological shift. So all in all, this course is going to um, enable you, to look at what's happening around our life and the society from a perspective that actually link the changes to the process of industrialization that has gone on for many, many centuries. We're not new to this. We're not new to this. There's a lot of changes happening since the 80th century. So these changes has been going on for 400 years. So that is where we are now, and we can do a little bit of predictions what is going to happen to us and our society in the future, in the near future. Okay. Okay. So first thing first, what is industrializations? I've been using this term for a lot of times. So many times I mentioned this word, industrialization, and what does it really mean? Okay. I guess you all must have some idea about the word industrialization. So basically, it has a very specific reference to what it really means as industrialization. Okay. It basically refers to the socio-economic transitions from an agrarian society to an industrial society. So that means the changes is a fundamental social and economic change to the society, where manufacturing becomes the main mode of production and the primary basis of the economy. So what it really means, it's not only about the technological change, but it is the technological change that comes with the changes in how we live our life socially, and also our production, what we do on a daily basis. It changes the entire social structures, because of the technological change. It shifts the way we do things and how we relate to each other on a daily basis. So you must remember, when it comes to if there's a questions about what is industrialization, you have to know that it is a socio-economic shift from a agrarian society, that is agriculture society, to an industrial society. So the changes is quite drastic, and the center of the center theme of this course is to find out what is the relationship between industrialization and social change. Yeah, how these two um, you know related to each other. Yeah, by understanding this relationship, it will allow us not to take things for granted, like how we whatever we are experiencing now, we know it rooted in some point in the history where things changes, where social structures, where economic structure changes, and it has resulted in what we experience now. For example, like your light, the light bulb that you use, the computer you use, the way we are communicating through the internet. Yeah. Because last time we will have to be all together, sit in a classroom to be able to learn. But now you can sit at home at the comfort of your home or wherever you are. You can attend your class. And this has to do with the industrial revolution that changes something that we do things and how we do things. Yeah. So for this course, I'm going to share with you how industrialization shift. Yeah. Some of the fundamental things, some of the bigger things in our life, and a small thing even like a watch or like the pen that you are using. Okay, your ball pen, the pencil. Yeah. At some point, all this technology has evolved or changes or become more sophisticated that enable us to do uh, something that is way beyond our imaginations. Yeah. Who would know that, one day we use our smartphone to, you can practically do anything with your smartphone. Yeah. So, and that changes is not accident. It's not accidental. It went through a whole history of technological transformation and what we learn through the process. Yeah, that enable us to do something very remarkable in human history. Right. So, oops, that's a glitch. Okay, and to really understand, yeah, to really understand how industrialization changes the society, yeah, we have to know something very fundamental about what is changing, what has changed during the industrialization process. Okay, and here I need to introduce a very fundamental concept that is called means of production. Means of production, this is a concept introduced by Karl Marx long time ago in 1859, a book he published. Means of productions, it refers to the tools and physical resources used in producing goods and services of value. So you can refer to the old notes, yeah, where the notes are written in Bahasa Melayu. So you can see the translation of this part. It's exactly the same translation. But what you need to understand here is really what it means by means of production. The word mean in English, it has many meanings, but in here it simply means that a tool or something that we use, yeah, to produce something. Okay, for example, it can be a tool, yeah, like if you used a spade or a, a scissor, yeah, to cut something into something else to produce something. Or you can use a bamboo to weave bamboo uh, into a bamboo basket, for example. So that is goods. Yeah, goods is something that you can sell. So a basket is something that you can sell. But in order for you to make the basket, you need some tools, right? You probably need some knives or some cutter, and then you need to have the skill, the technical knowledge to weave the bamboo strip that you has actually processed and make it into a bamboo basket. Then you can sell the basket. So the material, the bamboo, yeah, and the technical knowledge and skill that once possessed, or maybe you have in a little sort of workshop for you to do it. So that is your infrastructures. So all this are called the means of productions. Yeah, because it allows you to produce something um, from a raw material like a bamboo. Yeah, you can produce a, a bamboo basket, and then you can sell the bamboo basket in the market and get the profit out of it. So here, means of productions basically refer to all the physical resources, including your technical knowledge. Yeah, but it doesn't count the capital. Yeah, it doesn't count the money that you invested. Okay, money you do not consider as a means of production because it is something. It is what we call it is a means for your transactions. Yeah, but it's not for the productions. The income is also not considered as part of the means of production. The means of production only refer to all the physical resources and your technical knowledge and skills that requires you to produce something. And that including your services. For example, if you are a hairdresser, yeah, a hairdresser, you need to have the skill of how to cut your hair, and you need the scissors, and you probably need the blower or uh, whatever the dye or whatever to enable you to provide a hairdressing service to your client. Oh, okay. Okay, I understand what you mean, Daryl. Um, Basically, when we talk about means of production, um, we do not consider the money, yeah, the money that you use to get the physical resource or the money you collected after you selling the goods. It's not part of this discussions. Yeah. So, um, okay. So we go to the next one. So the second point is according to the historical materialistic perspective. So this is another concept is introduced by Marx also. It's a perspective is called historical materialist perspective. This perspective basically proposed that the level of technology sophistication in the means of production determines the level of societal development. So what it means is how sophisticated in technical and technological terms, the means of productions will determine the level of the societal sophistication. So I give you an example like this. Yeah. In history, we at one point human live in as hunters and gatherers. Yeah, before we become what we are now. Okay, at one point in many years ago. Yeah. So we go hunting with some very basic tools, not using guns, yeah, not using any gunpowders, but only tools. Maybe back then we used stick and also sharpened stone, spears. That's right. So, but the technological that we use to produce some of this goods. Let's say a hunter in that era, okay, in this era, he produced a spear to go and hunt, and then he can use whatever he hunted to exchange for something else. Okay, so the process of him producing something that he can go and of value and can go for exchange, the level of technology that he used at that time, the spear, will determine the level of the societal development. Meaning, because the tool he used, the technological, is so simple, it also means the society was simpler, was not so complex as we are now. But now, if you know someone who is a hunter, the hunter now will not go into the jungle or go into the wood with a spear, but they will go there with a gunfire. Yeah, with a gun. So if you compare the technology of a spear and a gun, you can see how the difference in terms of the technology. Yeah, it also reflects how complex the society that produces that tool, the difference between the two society. So in simple words, when you have a simple technology, meaning the society was simpler, but when you have a more sophisticated tool, like now you can have, you have Wi-Fi, you're communicating with device between devices through the air. It's like there's no cable required. So that also means for that to happen, the society must be quite sophisticated because the technology it used is very sophisticated. So that is what the historical materialist perspective means. Okay? So for these slides, we talk about the means of production and also the perspective of historical materialist perspective. In the next topic, I'm going to expand a little bit more on these two concepts, and then I'm going to talk about how it actually affects our social change because of that, right? So here I'm going to give you a big pictures of how this historical materialist perspective see the changes in the technology, and also how it may reflect the complication or the complexness of the society that produce the same technology. Okay, so this is a very macroscopic view, yeah, from a very general point of view of the four types of society when we have hunting and gathering society, and then it evolved into agrarian society. That means it's a society that is economic based on the agriculture activities. And of course, then we are now here where we are, or we are actually going into the post-industrial society. In the industrial society, where the economic is basically um, is very much based on the manufacturing in the factories. Okay, and the post-industrial society, it it emphasizes more on the services rather than manufacturing. So if we look at the mode of productions, in hunting and gathering society, they use very simple tools and some of the knowledge for hunting and gathering. But when it goes to agrarian society, we need to use the land, yeah, for planting and for also to keep the livestock. Yeah, of course we need the tools and knowledge and also seed and livestock to produce. Yeah, and when it comes to industrial society, even though we are industrialized, but it doesn't mean we discard totally the agriculture part. But then the agriculture will become, you know, will supply the raw material for manufacturing. Yeah, but in the industrial society, can look at the things that we use are very different. We need land, we need buildings to build we need the factories building, we need machines, yeah, we need materials. Sometimes we get we use a material from agriculture activities. Yeah, and also we need the knowledge and technical knowledge, and also we need infrastructure. That is something very, very different. We need like airport, we need railway, we need a port, we need complex road system to distribute the goods that we produce to in the factories. And when it goes into a post-industrial society, in addition to the industrial technology, now we have artificial intelligence, we have internet, and so on. Yeah. So if you look at, I'm not going to go through each and every one. You can read this note later. So you can see how because of the mode of production, the technology was much simpler compared to now. You can see how the society, how the structures, how the economy evolved from a less sophisticated into a more sophisticated socioeconomic structures. We take the for example, the work and the division of labor. Yeah, how during the time when we were hunters and gatherers, work only involves hunting and gathering. Yeah, and the division of labor by age and gender. So if you are younger, you have to stay home to help to do the gathering. Yeah, and usually women, as because they get pregnant, they cannot, if they're pregnant or they look after the children, uh, they usually will not go hunting. Yeah, the men will go hunting. So the division of labor usually according to age and also gender. And when it goes into, when we develop into an agrarian society, so the work shift. We are no longer sort of wandering around looking for animals to hunt or to gather fruits or whatever. We start farming. Yeah, we settle down. We start farming, and also we do animal husbandry. Yeah, we keep the animals. And the division of labor, it will usually according to skill. If you are good at planting, you will do the planting. And if you are good at keeping animal, you go look after the animals. And then because of this, society become a bit more complex. So we have different social statuses. Like you're a farmer, if you're a landowner, and if you are like a lord, yeah, then you have people serving you. So the division of labor is according to, in addition to skill, it also depends on the status one has in the society. And of course, when it goes into, when we develop into industrial society, like most society now, yeah, the occupation are so diverse. There's so many different types of job. You're not only looking after animals or planting only. Yeah, there's so many different things that you can do. And also, because of this diversity, the division of labor is according to technical expertise. Yeah, if you are good at this, because you do, somehow we develop a school system to to differentiate people's skills in according to whatever they are good at, and then we give them whatever job they're good at. Yeah. But if we are going forward, like even we can see it happening now, is we are going into a post-industrial society where the service sector dominates. Yeah, service sectors. We're no longer focusing on producing goods or food or whatever, but we are focusing on giving services. Yeah, services like you can do coding, you can do develop programs, you can create AI. Yeah, so those are services. And also the division of labor is not just technical expertise, but according to your knowledge. Yeah, and also your information specializations, like how good you are um, with managing or producing information. Okay, so from here you can have a pictures of what it means by historical materialist perspective. Yeah, based on this perspective, we are looking at how the sophistications of tech technological sophistication in the mode of production is also reflect how sophisticated the society is. Yeah, and that's why for the for those who believe in historical materialist perspective, it will tell you, they will propose that when we change the technology in the means of our productions, we will change the society, because because that change in the technology will change how human behave and interact with each other, and how we produce and how we create values using all the tools and knowledge that we have. Okay, so I hope you can grasp this, but if not yet, we are going to revisit this in topic 2. Okay, so here, for the 4 types of society needs to emerge, they were, when we were hunting and gathering, and somehow someone, have this idea about, oh, why don't we go into agriculture, like how we can actually cultivate plants, and how do we, keep animals in one place so that we don't have to travel from places to places. So that was agricultural revolutions. Yeah, when that agricultural revolution happened, we stop hunting and gathering. So we will start looking after, we start planting, and then we start keeping animals for our need. Yeah. And when we just keep planting and also keeping animals for our need, it's sort of like can we, probably someone during that time, they will be thinking, okay, when I harvest my plant, when I harvest the vegetable, they can only be kept for so long. How can I create more values from whatever that I have harvested? So people are start to think about, but at that time, people also think more about the science, in terms of um, how things exist and what is this, and can we change something into something else? Yeah, so at one point, people are start doing a lot of experiments, right? Scientific experiments. They try to explore, and that's when industrial revolution happened. Okay, they come up with new way of doing things. They change the way we do things, for traditions, like part of the traditions, and define new technology and new methods to do things differently. And that's when industrial revolution happened. It pushed the society into becoming an industrial society. And so this course is more about uh, dissecting what happened then and why we became what we are now, so that society is not just appear out of nowhere. It has its historical uh, heritage that you can trace based on the technology of the way we produce goods and services. Oops. Okay. It's all right. There's technical glitch. So, in order for industrializations to happen, so we need industrial revolutions. Yeah. So when industrial revolution happened, it usually involved the changes in technologies, the technologies that we use and the energy we use to produce things. Energy is something very, when we talk about in the industrial terms, yeah, it means a lot of things. The external energy that we use, whether it's wind, like in the old days, like when farmers may use animals as source of energy to work the field. Like you use you even keep a buffalo in your field to help you work the field. Yeah. So that means you use the energy of the animal. But you have a tractor, somehow our technology evolves into, like, we can produce a tractor that use petroleum or diesel to power the tractor to work your field. Then it's a different kind of energy. We are using fossil fuel energy. Yeah. Or you can use electric. For example, let's say you put a battery, you have EV, right? Electric vehicles. You convert your tractor into an EV. So you use um, electric energy to power your tractor. Or even if you are becoming more sophisticated, maybe you can use a process of what hydrolyzations, like you use water, you break the water into its molecule to power your vehicle, your tractor. That means you are using a different kind of energy. Yeah. And also sometimes it also depends on the material we use in the production process. Yeah. Different materials will produce different things. Like if you use iron and you use steel, you're producing something of metal, but iron will rust, but a standard steel will never rust. So you see the material used in these productions and the product it produced has different values and different use. So when we refer to industrializations, basically when we talk about industrialization, we are referring to socio-economic structural change. Yeah. But when we talk about industrial revolution, we are referring to the technological transformation. So I hope you know the two difference. Yeah. Industrialization, it refers to social and economic changes. But when we talk about industrial revolution, we are referring to the technological changes. So in history, we have four industrial revolution. So the first one, it happens towards the end of 18th centuries, around 1760s. It is also called mechanical productions. Mechanical. So the production is more mechanic because it uses the power of steam, as a source of power to enable productions. But when we come to the second industrial revolutions, where it is focusing on mass production because human are able to generate electricity. The energy that's used in productions is very different. And of course, later, about another 100 years later, we created the internet, and then we can enable what we call automated productions. And later on, quite recently, like 20 years ago, we are able to create something like a robot. So it becomes intelligent productions. So as you can see, from the first IR to second IR, it took about 100 years. And also it took also about 100 years from second to the third. But you see, it only took half the time or even less for us to go from the third to the fourth revolution. So imagine from now, we can see maybe in very short time, I don't know, because now I can already hear about people talking about IR5. But from what I read about IR5, that there's not so much about technological changes. But I think the next technological shift will happen very, very fast. So maybe then I will have to change the structure of this course again. Okay. Oops. So the first revolution, industrial revolutions. So it is also called the mechanical productions and the power of steam. So the main key technological changes are the inventions of spinning jenny. You have to remember this because this is a very important invention. The picture is here. This is the spinning jenny. What happened with spinning jenny? Spinning jenny has a very significant historical story, when it comes to industrial revolution. Because last time when people want to produce a thread, you produce a thread or or a thread for use to use in the clothes making. It takes one person to work on one spinning machine, yeah, to create one 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 row of threads. But with the invention of spinning jenny, yeah, one person is a simple mechanic machine, yeah, it's still human operated, but one person you can produce many thread in one go. So it changes because why? Because of that simple machine is taking away a lot of job opportunities. Yeah. And it actually create a havoc, like a lot of people uh, are taking things onto the street, because they lost the job because of the creation of the machine, of that simple machine. And of course, you can also see even now we talk about we are losing job because of the robot. So it's the same thing. Like when you have technological changes, yeah, it's going to change the process of productions, and of course, it's going to change how you work and who gets the work. Yeah. So all this is is you can say the history is repeating itself, yeah, but in a different setting and different technology. So spinning jenny is sort of open the curtain of industrial revolutions, and from then on there are a lot of new inventions, like the invention of a steam engine. Yeah, last time you used the power, uh, we use the power from the wind, like you have a windmill, or you keep animal to help you do the work, or maybe you use the water mill, like use the water flow and it turns things for you. But now if you have a steam machine, you can move that machine anywhere. You just have to heat it up and let the steam do the work. Yeah, and it can run for a long time. So because wind, sometimes there's wind, sometimes there's no wind. But I think water flow can be more consistent. But your animal will have to rest, and so are we as human. We need to rest. But your steam engine may not have to rest as long as you put the water in and heat it up. Yeah. And also we have the creation of steam railway. Yeah, the railway. So it changes how we transport things. And the innovations of rubber vulcanization. Rubber vulcanizations is how we make rubber into something more lasting. So we can shape the rubber into more different things. Yeah. But of course now we have plastic. We're not using you get not much relying on rubber. So we use plastics. And also advancement in iron and steel productions, the chemical, cement, and gas. So cement, that's something we see very common, but it was invented, it was made possible during the first industrial revolution. So before that, we do not build houses with cement. We only use mud or bricks. We stack the bricks. But then with the inventions of cement, you make the bricks, bind together in a more solid way. Yeah. And of course, there was the inventions of factory system. Yeah. When all that we start to have sort of a bigger building to put workers in there to do the work. right? And then we move into the second industrial revolution, where it is also known as the technological revolution, because during then there were a lot of new invention, a lot of new invention that basically is shape how our technology now. Yeah. And also what we call the mass productions. Yeah. When we can produce a lot, yeah, in a short span of time. So the key technological change then, you can see there's expansions of railway and shipping technologies, because we produce more, then we can ship and transport the goods, further and faster. And the invention of steel, yeah, is a very important invention. Before that, we were still using iron that can rust and not very not very solid and not very hard. But the invention of steel, it allows us to do a lot of things, stronger structures, and it will not rust. Yeah, that is a very important invention in human history. And also the generation of electrical power. Yeah, before that we used the steam power. Now we can use the electrical power. And also the inventions and use of telegraph and telephones. Yeah, even so primitive compared to what we have now, but it was a very important invention that allows, further uh, technological refinement. And also commercial electric light. Yeah, it allows us to work longer hour actually. Yeah, like last time when the sun is down, you just have to stop doing everything because it's so dark. But now at night, you have the electric light that basically you can work the whole night. Yeah, because of the light. So you can see how industrial revolution changes the way we live. Yeah. And also development of cars and airplanes. Yeah, so that's very important. It changes how we move, how we travel. And in during the second industrial revolutions, we introduced the assembly line. Yeah, this is the assembly line. So all the workers, standing in line or seated in line, and there's a conveyor belt in the middle that send the products that is half complete. So each worker focusing only completing one element of the products. Yeah. So there is a clear division and specialization of labor. So that is a concept that is so important, that shift. It changes how we work now, what we call specialization and the division of labor. If you still remember, when we talk about the hunters and gatherers, they do divide the jobs, but not in this way. Yeah, not in this way. This is a very different kind of division of labor. And when we go into the industrial revolutions, where we use ICT and automated productions, okay, so then the key technological changes will be the inventions of computers. Yeah, I'm not sure. I believe most of you have not used this kind of computer where it only has sort of green words, very minimum RAM and memory. So it only do very minimum, very simple. I'm not saying they're almost like a calculator but bigger. Okay, they're like a calculator that you use, but it's bigger. Yeah. And then we develop semiconductors technology that enables us to create some chips. Yeah. And the inventions of the internet, very important invention in human history. Advancements in biotechnology, how we create, um, you know, biotechnologies like different kind of medicines and so on. And generations of nuclear and solar energy. So the energy we use, apart from the electrical, we can also use nuclear power, or even now, which is the nuclear power can be a bit hazardous. Yeah. Solar energy is a lot, more environmental friendly. Yeah. And more sustainable. And here we will start using all these digital technologies in the productions. Yeah. We make it automated like a robot in the assembly line. So it's still the concept of assembly line is there, but then the workers are no longer human. They're robots. Yeah. So this is how, you can see how it changes. And then of course the fourth, the current industrial revolutions. So there are a lot of things going on now, like cyber physical system, meaning the physical system is combined with the internet. Yeah. So we have the internet of things, cloud computing. So a lot of us will use the cloud to save our data. Then you can access the data from anywhere as long as you have internet. Yeah. Like this recording is recorded, currently being recorded in cloud. And later on when I share it, you can access it anywhere as long as you can have access to the internet. And then we have big data, we have nano technologies, integration of technology and biology, so we can have sort of implants, yeah, that some chips that you implanted in our body, and it can do a lot of things for us. Yeah. And also financial technology, fintech. I'm not very good with this one, but maybe some of you will be able to share more about fintech, financial technology. And humanoids, yeah, like a robot is, but not only robot, but a robot that looks like a real human. Yeah, I think you probably have seen it on you know on your reels when you swipe. When you look for all these short videos, you can see humanoids. They look like real human, but they're robots. Yeah. And we also more focusing on renewable energy sources. Yeah, like the solar powers, like the geothermal, because the earth generates heat, so we can harvest the heat from the earth to generate, to make it become an energy source. And of course, now it's the in thing is about AI, the thinking computer that it can learn and also can do a lot of things for us. Yeah, so from here you can see how this different technology has evolved. And going back to the historical, uh, no, not yet. So here, what we can see here is like based on the four IRs that I have shown you, you can see that the industrial revolution triggers some technological changes in the way we produce, in the way we manufacturing, yeah, and it also increases the productivities, yeah, because last time before there's light, you can only work during the daytime, but then with the light, with more different, more continuing supplies of energy, you can work longer hours. The factory can now have like what three shift. You have morning and afternoon and night shift because you have light, you have consistent supply of power to light up the whole factory. Yeah. So the productivity has been increased. And because the industrial output increases, the economic contribution of manufacturing grows. So we depend the economy, it drives the economy and it changes the structure of the economy. And of course, then the rest of the structures, like the social structures, will follow. Like you start having, different kind of rules and regulations, different kind of occupations. You need to create some new occupation in order to service the manufacturing economies. Yeah. So it changes everything. Yeah. And when it comes to the going back to that historical materialism, yeah, the yeah, is a concept introduced by Karl Marx. Oh, what happened? What happened? Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the level of technological sophistication in our means of production will reflect on the sophistications of the social structure itself. Yeah. So for that reason, historical materialism proposed that the social change will is the result from the material and technological conditions. Yeah. But of course, this is debatable. Yeah. I'm not saying that this perspective is sort of like 100% sure proof. But there are other factors that also intervene. Yeah. It's not like to say, other social factors that are not playing a role in changing how the society uh, evolved. Yeah, but according to this historical materialism, when we change the technological sophistication in our means of production, it will actually um, influence our social changes. So that is the main thing. Okay. So for this course, uh, as I as I explained in our course outline, so we are going to look at how these changes happened in different, at the macro and micro levels. Yeah. So we will look at how the industrialization process, and also sometimes I may refer to the industrial revolution to explain all these changes in all these different aspects of our social life. Yeah. Okay. So before I conclude this WebEx uh, class, I'm going to share with you this about I promise you to talk about your coursework. Yeah. Okay. So your coursework. I hope you have already entered the course portal. Yeah. If you have not already done so, please do it after the class. So you go to coursework, right? Close this. Yeah. Under coursework, you will find this part is pembentukan kumpulan. Okay. Here's you can read the instructions on how you create and you can modify your group. Okay, I think there's already some group has been formed here because there are quite a lot. Only two. Yeah. So you can gather yourself, or you can, this one still have one space, but this one is locked. So if you want to join this group, you may have to make a request to this group to allow you to join this group. No, not two people, minimum three, minimum tiga orang. Ya, sebab dalam arahan tugasan 3 hingga 5. Ya, try not to have two people because later on, because you have to stick with the same group for your first assignment and also your second assignment. So try to stick with your group, but please, yeah, if you change your group, please, if you somehow change your group outside, please come back and update here because why, when you submit your assignment, the system will capture which group you are in. Okay? So I will refer to the grouping here when giving you marks. So if you change your group but you do not update your group here, then I may miss out. Okay, so last year there was a student who changed his group but without updating the system. I totally missed his mark. So but the time when he realized and informed me, it was too late for me to change it for him. And the university has started a new ruling. You see, when towards the end of the sidang, when you can mohon semakan maka, yeah, after the final exam, you are allowed to mohon semakan maka, yeah. By that time, lectures are not allowed to change your kerja khusus, maka kerja khusus. We can only look at we can only check your maka peperiksaan. We cannot change the university doesn't allow us to change your kerja khusus, maka kerja khusus. So please make sure if you change your group, you update it here so that I do not miss your mark. Yeah. Otherwise, if you have to wait until, of course, there's one chance for you to do it because once I mark all the assignment, I will show you your grade kerja khusus, and then you can tell me. Yeah, but usually you have quite a short time, like a couple of weeks for you to do that. But anyway, please update if you change your group. Yeah, please do that. Yeah. So over here, you can from your groups, okay? And once you from your group, you will have your group name. Yeah. So when you submit your group, when you submit your kerja khusus, where is it at? Okay. So when you go to tugasan 1, okay, you only have to assign one person in your group to submit the assignment. Not everyone have to submit because when you submit your essay here, it will capture which group you are in and they will automatically assign to all your group members. Okay, so only one person have to do the submission. Yeah, no need everyone submit. Yeah, only one person do the submission. The system will know which group has submitted. Okay, so that is the same for your second assignment because you also have to update. You have to upload your assignment here. Okay, but this one, the second assignment has a little bit, has a slight different things that you need to do. Let me show you. Because after you submit your second assignment contain one proposal, one presentation, and one group evaluation. So you need to hantar your proposal here, and then you upload your group presentation in YouTube as unlisted. Yeah, the I give you all the instructions already, and then you paste it here. Okay, so it will not be shown to other people if they do not have your link. Yeah, so when you embed your video here, then I can see your submission, and I can do the marking from here. Okay, and another thing you need to do after you submitted is to, when you, after the submission phase, yeah, after the closing of the submission, there's a deadline that is 16 April. Yeah, after that, the next day, you I'm going to give you about 10 days to do this. You have to come back here and click. There will be a button here for you to click. You will then do your group peer assessment. Yeah, you will give marks to your peer. Okay, after this. So that means you have, for second assignment, you need to do 3 things. One, not everyone has to do the 3 things, but uh, you only need to assign one person to upload the proposal and to embed the video, but everyone has to come here and click somewhere here to give your group a group marker. Okay, so please do that. Is there any questions about the assignment? So you have basically 2 main assignment. Assignment 1 only contain only an essay. Second assignment, you have to do a proposal to propose a social enterprise project. Yeah, it's not a business project. Yeah, a social enterprise, meaning the project you are proposing is not for profit making, but for the betterment of the society. Yeah, so there is a specific topic that you to address. Yeah, you decide what is the topic that is suitable. But for Tugasan 1 and Tugasan 2, they are interlinked. Okay, to answer your question, Daryl, you can actually tell me what you plan to do, and I will give you your feedback. Yeah, but don't send me your proposal. You just have to tell me this is what you propose and what I think about it. Yeah, so that you know it is within the reason lah. And for that, I think because you probably don't want your idea to be known to other students, for that you can send me email. But only one representative from your group need to do that, so that I don't get multiple email from the same group. You may get yourself confused. Okay. So Tugasan 1 and Tugasan 2 are interrelated because in Tugasan 1 you need to identify, a particular social issue faced by the immigrants. Yeah, the immigrants that come to work in Malaysia. And then in Tugasan 2, you need to create a social enterprise project to help these immigrants. And the project must involve certain kind of technology that will make your, to facilitate your project. Yeah. And then you will create a presentation to sell your idea. So make it more interesting, but a very short and effective video to sell your idea. Okay. So basically, that is what the tugasan is all about. So tugasan 1, you have to submit by mid-February, and then tugasan 2 by mid-April. So basically, you can plan your time from now, because you have been given ample time to do it. Yeah. Um, yeah. Okay. So, is there any questions? We have a slightly longer class today than usual, because for me, I'm not very. Oh, the duration of the video is less than 5 minutes. I think it's in the instruction there. It's in the instruction. It's less than 5 minutes, if I remember it correctly. I don't want the very long videos. Yeah, it's just going to be short, because you see a lot of reels now is very short already. So yeah, it's not less than 5 minutes. Yeah, don't make a very long videos. Yeah, just less than 5 minutes. Okay. Is there any questions? Any other questions? Yeah, make it short, simple, and straightforward, and attractive. Okay, so you can use this Padlet to ask me any questions. Yeah. Okay, so if not, then I think it's time for us to stop this class. I'll stop the recording.